Welcome to the Diplomats, where we're talking about the Season 6 Nexus main event finals with the Diplomats themselves, Audacious Hand and Don Superstition from the Nexus server, brought to you by diplomacybriefing.com. We are reaching the mountain stages. I think we are in the mountains now. And we are just got finished looking at spring 1907. We are now going to look at fall 1907. 1907 and 1908 is where the magic happens. And but there wasn't much magic in the spring. Let's go to the fall. And I have to tell you, I haven't looked at any of these moves. Don't know what happens. And Superstition, how are you tonight? And I've just put up the fall.
Doing good. Yeah, I'm all right.
All right.
I'd say I'm medium rare.
Well, here we go. Russia did not get Romania back. That was a fairly, was that a certainty?
Yeah, he couldn't have.
I'm trying to figure out if Russia could have gotten anything back. Could Russia have gotten Serbia back? No.
No.
So Russia definitely lost Romania. Turkey covers Constantinople and Ankara. So what are we thinking as we look at this board on the RT war?
Turkey's still in a great position. Ewok's pivoting very well. It's giving England kind of a position, but the support from England and SCP makes it sound like maybe they're working it out, but I don't know.
I'd be very proud of them if they worked it out. That'd be a nice story.
You think if they worked it out, they'd be dividing Germany right now, though, instead of pivoting away?
Well, it's kind of nice to see Rageful Riaz actually making, extending the olive branch or being the first to do it. Sometimes someone just needs to make the first move. It's pretty rare that when you're trying to de-escalate that it happens at once, and if you try to insist on that, you usually kind of end at an impasse. So we'll see where that goes. But Russia, I do like that he kept the Black Sea here. I don't understand why he didn't support Germany into Tyrolia, really, unless Germany asked him not to. I feel like that wasn't probably at Russia's request, and Germany kind of owes him one, but he could have put Germany into Venice or something next turn, possibly.
That would have been more useful.
Yeah. Or not, maybe not into Venice, actually, but he could have. Yeah, he could have. He could have supported Tyrolia to Venice. Of course, England's still pinning down Germany for whatever reason, but bizarre. I don't get why he didn't support Germany.
He's gonna do at least 6 more times until he gets Kiel.
So what is happening with the Turkish situation in the south? I can't tell because Italy attacks Russia, which is a good sign for Turkey, even though there was nothing else for those units to do. But Italy covers Naples, and there's a bounce in Tyrrhenian Sea. Turkey does not go for Tunis. I'm wondering if that was a request of Italy to move to Tyrrhenian Sea in an attempt to sort of gain favor. Maybe not, because Ionian is certainly all by its lonesome now with the shifting of the fleets from Turkey. So Ionian's lost in 08.
It's a good job by Italy, actually, I think, and a mistake by Turkey. Like, there wasn't really a reason to rotate the fleets when you could build a fleet, though I guess you wanted to cover both centers in case Russia poked. So there is an argument there. I think Turkey guessed that Italy would cover his centers, just a one-fold thinking versus a two-fold thinking, not knowing that, and here I'm agreeing with you, that Italy would take the risk of asking France to come to the Tyrrhenian Sea. So in the sense that I think that Italy was gambling on the fact that France and Turkey would bounce. Obviously, you don't want foreign powers in either Tyrrhenian or the Ionian, and the fact that Ionian likely will be pushed out now, though that could also lead to some problematic retreats. I think he's having a great recovery here. If he was able to put the bottle of resentment into the cellar rather than just guzzling it and spilling it all over his face, might be better to kind of enlist Russia here. But Yeah, I think Italy did really well. I think Turkey made a slight miscalculation just with the one fold thought, but not terrible. I mean, he's just covering the centers, really. He wants to build really badly.
I feel like this is a really weird move. Like, why would you want to leave Ionian unless you're taking a center? Because there's nothing even to support into you. I mean, it's going to be a year before something can come back and fill that space. Ionian's just way more valuable. So, I mean, yeah, try to go into Tunis or Naples, but I don't understand this move at all unless it was requested.
It is a little odd. I mean, you can threaten 3 centers from Tyrrhenian Sea, and I guess he thought that he kind of was banking on Italy covering the centers. But you're right. I mean, if you're going to move away from the Ionian with your other fleets, then you kind of need the Ionian as a defensive tile.
Yeah, Raider and Ionian would be bad.
Yeah,
Real bad.
no problem.
Granted, most likely Italy will stay defending, but if he feels like he's lost, he might just cause some chaos. You got your fleets against Russia right now. It's like, why would you risk one sliding behind?
I think I would if I was. Yeah, I mean, it's a choice, right? Because Serbia is vulnerable if I mean if Bulgaria self bounces in Khan with Aegean, uh, which may be what Ewok anticipated, which is why you see those moves. But that fleet in the Ionian, the more I look at it, the more I think he should have just moved to Naples. He either takes Naples or he bounces everybody.
Yeah. That could have been good. I mean, also, I wonder, I mean, it could also be the fact maybe he's thinking more about racing France for the win and just actually doesn't want to let France creep up on Italy. Of course, going to Naples would have had the same effect, but maybe that's what he's thinking, just assuming. If, in that case, it would be kind of pretty good guesswork, but yeah, it is a little puzzling. I honestly would have been tempted almost to hold Ionian and just try to get Italy back on side. Be like, look, I just want this defensively. I'm not doing anything against you or something. But he gets a build.
He gets a build.
He gets a build.
The only player in 07 to build. And as ridiculous as it may seem, I'm not convinced he builds a fleet. I think he might have to build an army.
Yeah, agreed. Well, because if he has to build in Smyrna, and if he builds a fleet, he can't block out of Armenia and take the Black Sea. So he might choose to. I mean, I think you really do want to take the Black Sea as soon as possible if you're going to push your advantage here, which might be a little difficult if Italy starts breathing on your neck. But yeah, I think he'll build an army in Smyrna to cover Armenia. It's funny because he's almost forcing this odd situation where even if Italy absolutely doesn't want to, Italy's going to help Russia if he pushes farther. So that will definitely put them in an awkward spot if they really are trying to maintain their feud.
Maybe it's enforced trust. He just has to trust him, or France is going to kill him, and if he doesn't, then he's going to let Russia kill him.
I really hope that Turkey's, and I think Turkey is capable of this, gets into the Adriatic. He could help Italy against Russia.
Yeah.
Give Italy back the Ionian. Be able to cover Greece. I mean, there's play. The two of them can work together. And with all these units barreling down towards Turkey now to defend,
I think Italy might be tired of Turkey shit, honestly, though, because there was that build in Smyrna that Italy didn't react to, and then the support into Ionian. And now it looks like Italy is just bringing everything back. He's not taking any chances with Turkey anymore. So, I mean, he could help Italy against Russia, but then where's Italy going after that? Unless he has really believes Italy will press against France at that point. It's a tough one. And your back line is completely vulnerable to Italy at that point too. Italy will just go into Greece.
He kind of has to build an army, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because of that army in Sev now.
Yep. Yeah. If he wants to take Black Sea, yes.
I don't think he can push Italy. I think he's got to prop Italy up versus France for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's his only play, right? Like, I don't think he can grow against Italy. I think he's got to try and grow against Russia. That's going to be problematic.
He might just be trying to bank on a tie at 7 at this point. I mean, he could grow against Russia actually with his army as long as he can keep Italy off of him. Maybe he can sell Russia's downfall to Italy and have Italy turn back around against France. But we'll see.
So let's turn ourselves to the center north of the board here. Look at these German, English, Russian moves. And I can't help but think, did England expect Russia to cut Berlin?
I think he just copied and pasted his moves from last season and hoped they worked again. He just didn't hold he didn't hold the channel because he moved to Irish. Is that the only difference?
Yeah, well, no, North Sea this time. Yeah, I mean, North Sea moved to Holland, cut support. I don't know why. I mean, he could have taken Kiel if Prussia had cut Berlin.
It could be. It could be. I think Russia would be pretty foolish to lie about that at this point when he's so desperate for an ally, but it could be. I mean, also though, he's just been spamming that move against Germany and pinning him down. So it also could be just him continuing to do that for whatever reason. Yeah, the using North to tap Holland is a bit odd, isn't it? It really is. He could have had Belgium. He could have supported into Belgium, England. So I don't think it's hot. I think he's trying to maintain neutrality towards France. He looks like he's trying to get France back on side, and it might work. Honestly, I hope France isn't fooled by that. I don't think France should withdraw here. The game's in the closing years, and he's made his move. So miscalculation on England's part. But if France does draw back again, then it worked. Yeah, but just odd moves to me. I still think he should be shifting west at this point.
Do you think England might be shifting west?
He should be, but he's not. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
even
even
convoying to the island would be better, or obviously supporting into. I mean, he could have gotten the army into Belgium even. Would have had a build. Yeah.
Oh, you mean with support from English Channel?
Yeah, English Channel just held. It's not even doing anything really. He could have supported North Sea to Belgium if he wanted even. It's just odd. He's not protecting us. It's like he's just beefed so hard with Germany and Russia that he's just desperate for France to turn around. I think France finally smells the blood in the water and realizes that England's isolated, but I don't know. Maybe Riaz has lost his will to live to some extent.
The big news here, of course, is France takes the North Atlantic.
Yeah,
and I'm not entirely sure that Riaz, as England moving to Irish Sea from North Atlantic in the spring, was the right move. And this is what you see here. I mean, it was a guess, right? But it ended up being, a good guess by France.
I don't have much sympathy for Riaz because he's turned down the opportunity to seal up all three of those tiles multiple times. He could have disbanded that retreat to the Baltic and built. He waived a build. It's like he just wanted to leave a little hole for France to poke at. And actually, he's lucky that France was so reluctant to poke at it, almost like he suspects something. Like, why is it there? Why do you want me to go in there? I don't understand Riaz's play at this point in the game, really. As for France, I mean, good for him. Good guess.
Well, is it? I mean, it's almost one of those things he wasn't. I think he might be regretful later on. I mean, he's not going to take Liverpool. Is he going to go to Norwegian? I think there are better opportunities south than there are north. It's going to be hard for him to get anything off of England anytime soon. It can happen, especially if North Atlantic gets to Norwegian.
I mean, I actually disagree in the sense that there's actually more fleets in the south. If you combine the Turkish and Italian ones, and progress will be slower. Actually, England's lines are pretty weak here. I mean, he could go to Clyde and threaten two centers, which would cause some of England's other stuff to scramble. He could go to Norwegian, threaten centers there.
He could take Irish, right?
Yeah, he could take the Irish Sea, guaranteed. My only complaint would be, like, I understand wanting to cover all the coastal tiles because you're scared of the English convoy, England has proved that they just want to like break their head against Germany, though. So I really think he missed a pretty good opportunity to pull that army back into Gascony, and he could have had a guaranteed convoy into Clyde. And if he had that, then he would be guaranteed English centers. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but I think he's doing pretty well. He's keeping one fleet back to kind of creep up on Italy, but to bottle Turkey up while he races Turkey for a win. And if you can play this right, win this, all he really needs is one or two more centers. It is a little bit of a shame that Brest is still covered, though. That kind of wastes tempo.
Well, I guess the other way to think about it is this: with 3 full years left, a lot of these finals are decided on who's the most hated.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I think France would be less hated than Turkey, but I don't think either of them is really hated.
France stabbed anyone?
No.
No. Well,
I mean,
he did get support into Venice with Austria, so maybe Italy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some kind of positional stabs, but he hasn't really taken a center except from England, who had just, turned on him just before, and he did so by flipping Germany, and then stayed very loyal to him. So I'd say France is kind of the best reputation here. But yeah, I mean, I will say this might be a miss. I mean, he might look back on this and be like, if I had moved Burgundy to Gascony, I would have won this game. I think that especially if he ends up tying Turkey, you could see that. And I really do disagree with you. I think towards England is the way you want to go. You can't turn your back on England here. He has too many fleets on your borders. He's bordering one of your centers.
Burgundy to Gascony, I see it. I know exactly what you're talking about. It guarantees them Liverpool. I mean, it gives them so much play.
Mm-hmm.
The English position collapses.
Yeah, it's a risk, but it would be a game-winning play. And I think that maybe you have to count on Germany at this point, and also the kind of whatever's going on between Germany and England doesn't really look like it's letting up to me anyway.
Okay. Well, we got to grade the year of 1907. In totality, there was only one change. There's only one build. We talked about Turkey's build. Oh, there's a disband. What does Russia disband? And that's it. Those are the only adjustments we have to guess.
I wonder if Russia and England will work together here, because Russia is in a tough spot. Like you kind of, if the current alliance structure holds, you disband Livonia, but that really does, if England doesn't keep Germany pinned down, Germany's going to really take a long look at Warsaw. Though, so Germany, is he a virtual diplomacy guy?
Face to face, yes, he is. Dave Roberts.
So having played my first couple of games, I have noticed that people are a little more, they value, for whatever reason, just the kind of the scraps of survival a little more. In one of my games, for some strange reason, a player was kept alive with 1 dot being useless. In fact, when my ally could have taken her out and used a fleet. So maybe Dave is just he's that people make these like early long-standing deals. Maybe you just said, I'll stay at 3 dots and I'll be happy with that. With Russia. So that could be it. But yeah, I mean, that would leave him pretty vulnerable. I think that is what he'll do, though. I think he'll disband Livonia. Or Moscow. He could also just like move to Moscow and actually maybe Moscow. Because then he can move Livonia into there to cover, but also it gives a kind of defensive bluff, like I might go to Warsaw. You don't really know what I'm doing. So we'll see.
Stitches?
I would probably do that, but as much as he hates fleets, he might get rid of the black. You never know.
Do I hear anyone thinking Vienna?
It's possible, but I don't see Italy letting up.
He'll lose all 3 centers. He'll lose all 3 centers. I think Black Sea will do something similar next turn, and maybe he'll even support it in. He needs all 4 of those down there if he's going to hold on to those 3 centers. He has too much down there to let go of. Unless he's just going to completely come back and just try to hold like 3 centers or something. Or didn't Ewok though? Maybe didn't Ewok say he doesn't have a cellar of resentment, but he had the what was it the pantry of spite,
A pantry of pettiness.
pantry of pettiness. Maybe he'll get some sugar and spice from the pantry of pettiness now though. So it's a little hard to predict.
I think Livonia. That's my guess.
That
All
makes
right.
the most sense.
Quick grades then of 1907.
I feel like all our just general the entire class just is late in the semester and they're all tired and like kind of doing worse and not really trying as hard.
What a great analogy. I think that's it.
It might have just worn away their own stamina because of the breaks. Like it went on for so long.
We're not doing grades. You don't deserve grades.
Yeah.
Who will win the finals? We're just going to skip the grades.
That works for me, actually. Let's just give them all C pluses. Just be lazy professors.
All C pluses. There we go.
Yeah.
I'll give a C plus plus to everybody. Okay, who will win? Stitches.
It's a race between France and Turkey at this point, I think. I'm gonna bet on France just because I think England's determined to focus other places, and it looks like he's got a back door he's exploring. So depends how much Italy helps Turkey if he can win, but they start working together, Russia's gonna fall pretty fast. So I'll say France, but I'm not counting Turkey out at all.
I'm going to say France as well. You know, I'm looking at potential kingmakers on the board here. Russia would be one, but all his neighbors have kind of antagonized them. So who would he throw to? Maybe Germany, I guess, but Germany can't win.
That'd be a good
So Italy is kind of the kingmaker here. And God, imagine the terror of just going before Mad Max, just covered in blood and like steam pouring out of his ears and trying to get him to kingmake you. That would be terrible. That would be frightening. But France's position is better because if he guesses right, he can get one off of England somewhere up there. And he's kind of creeping up on Italy. Doesn't really necessarily need to take one up there. All he needs to do is keep Turkey out or maybe bring Turkey down one. The only thing that gives me pause is that Turkey is the tiebreaker. So that might come into play. So it is really close, but I'm going to go with France. And I've got to say, Philip, go to Gascony. Come on. What are you doing?
There's too much play left on this board to know. And I actually think England still has a good chance by good 20%, 25%. Because what we don't know is we're already starting to see the effects of the Turkish stab. And if I was Russia to England right now, I'd be saying something like, you're going to get my centers, but you got to let me go stop Turkey. If you take me now, I'll kingmake on Turkey. I mean, I think there's some Russian dots for England to have. There might be German dots if Germany goes towards Russia for England to take. And
yeah,
there's a lot of defensive play for England, but that fleet in North Atlantic is bad news.
It is, and he could have just locked because there's no way there could be fleets coming out of Russia if he had just locked that up. All he would have had to do is sit there, and he would have been guaranteed 7, and he just would have had to steal one at the end. So
I really feel like that's a Tom argument where we're like, oh, he's in good position, everyone can throw to him, and then meanwhile he's stabbed everyone around him, and they're like, why the hell would we throw to Tom? So yeah, I don't think he is in a good position diplomatically. I think he's got the Tom effect going on. We're like, he could win, but he's not going to.
I mean, if he could guess right against France if he does want to go all out against France, and if he can work things out with Germany, it's true. Like he could threaten Belgium or a convoy, et cetera. But it's tough. He should have, if he wanted to do that, he really should have kind of shifted over to the West quite a while ago. So
I can't say that the players are entertaining us too much in the year 1907. I'm expecting fireworks for 08 and 09, certainly starting in the fall of 08. But one person who's been a little lax this year, but came back to entertain us was Lady Razor.
yes.
This most recent drawing I'm going to call it homage to me. But it's genius.
So funny.
It's called Never Again. And it's got Ewok Russia there, and I love the little swimsuit. Right, it's purple. You know, the nice little drink in the summer. He's thinking to himself, Ewok rules. And the book he's reading, Talk When No One's Listening, the GHG Strategy, Volume 1 of 34. 44. Wait, yeah, 44. I love it. And then the jacket, the book jacket, the reviews of my book. I gave it an A with 8 pluses. I reviewed my own book. It was perfect. Pala says he doesn't shut the blank up. And then we got a little Humble dig. Here's 10 reasons Ed is wrong and I'm right. Humble. Which
I
is
didn't even read that.
which is hilarious. But then, of course, awakened from his summer slumber and enjoying life. The sunglasses come off. The face looks like it's gained about 20 pounds. I stare. Oh, I forgot to lock the back door. The drink spilled. It's just the little details. I love the skinny legs.
I mean, he really captured everything that has been vaguely entertaining about this game, which is not the moves, but the incredibly amusing VI tag that led to losing St. Petersburg. The kind of almost comedic at that point, endless kind of procession of vacation time and mental health breaks and, you know, paternity leave. Yeah. You know, in a game that really has been a little bit slow in terms of like strategy and even meta commentary, except for the occasional Mad Max outburst, it really captured the kind of the funny parts of the game. So, yeah, one of my favorite comics thus far, I would say.
Although
I feel like Ewok brings out the best in Lady Razor, because there's that one with the Ewok with the shampoo. I really like that one too from last season. So
I don't think anyone's gonna approximate that one from last year. I don't think he can top it. But Ewok does bring out the best in him.
So an A, the only A.
A plus plus.
Oh yeah, A with at least with 9 pluses for the 8 pluses he put on the book jacket.
But you did capture your approach to this game too pretty well. So
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for recording. Thanks to our competitors. Not a big thanks to our competitors, but thanks for giving us something to do on a night we otherwise wouldn't be doing anything. And thanks to diplomacybriefing.com for sponsoring us. So we will see you on the flip side in 1908. Good luck.
Good night.
good night.